ASU returns to Tempe after their tough game in Dallas and just dominates Colorado 54-13. The final, they get back on their winning ways. Chris Karpman, ASUDevils.com. I'm Jared Cohen, pros2preps.com. Chris, let's jump right off to start of this. In the beginning of the game, the first quarter, the defense was just all over the place. Namely, Chris Young had 7 tackles in that first quarter. That defense kind of made a statement to start the game.
They were really flying around. I thought the big thing was Todd Graham said we want to be aggressive no matter what. They came into this game. Colorado had no answer for their blitz pressure. Previous opponents have been audibling at the line of scrimmage, getting the ball out hot, changing where the play was going to go to pick up the blitzes. Colorado really didn't do that. They had no answer. Even when their quarterbacks, and they played 2 quarterbacks, weren't sacked in the game, they were pressured, and they really had no answer. Chris Young, as you said, was an absolute monster. Energy-wise, he really set the tone for the defense. Guys were flying around and making plays, and it looked more like what we saw from ASU last year as opposed to the first 4 games this season.
Moving over to the offensive side of the ball, the wide receiver position was an area of great concern last year. This year, Jalen Strong has emerged and is having a fantastic year. Another great game tonight. But there's other players that are also starting to step up as the season has progressed.
Yeah, Cameron Smith got a really slow start because he was hurt and he had a groin strain, and then they kind of were trying to get him going a little bit in the last game, and against Notre Dame late he had some plays, but this game he really had that big catch down at the 1-yard line that set up a touchdown. And I think that's the guy that maybe they want to get going, especially now that Rick Smith hasn't really done that well in some of these games. They need a vertical threat on the other side of the field from Jalen Strong, who had his 5th straight 100-yard game and was incredible, had a touchdown of his own. But if they can get that Robin to the Batman character going with both of those guys, and then you have DJ Foster in the slot, that just takes your offense from being really good to potentially great.
Yeah, and this offense putting up huge numbers. Finally, the last thing to get to, Chris, is this could have easily been the quote-unquote trap game. You're coming off a high-emotion game against Notre Dame. You return home against a Colorado team that's struggling with Washington waiting in the wings next week. But ASU didn't allow that to happen, and they talked a lot about how much the team has matured in the way they handled themselves tonight.
I think it's really a testament to Graham. If you had the previous regime where they were like penalty-laden type of a team and focus was, waxed or waned depending upon situations, Graham does a really good job of preparing them week in and week out. It seems like they're always going to be emotionally at least, pretty much ready to play, if not really ready to play. They didn't have, sloppy penalties or procedural type issues. They just kind of came out and took it right to Colorado. Before you knew it, it was 25-0 in the first quarter. That's the most points they've scored in a quarter to start a game since 2002 against Stanford. And the game was pretty much over, right off the bat.
So there you have it. ASU gets back onto the winning track. Have a huge week coming up, though. Washington comes to town. They're coming off 2 losses to the top teams in the Pac-12, Stanford and Oregon, so they're going to be hungry, looking for a win.